Welcome to our newest project involving something that covers 3/4 of the planet Earth, the oceans. How many of us have spent time on the ocean's shores? Whether the favorite activity is sunbathing or riding a wave, when most people think of the oceans, the first thing that comes to mind, sharks. This fear is fueled by the news media and movies such as Jaws, but reports of shark attacks are exaggerated and the oceans are inhabited by much more. Tropical fish from warm climates, mammals such as dolphins, beautiful flowering plants, coral, which is actually a colony of tiny organisms that provide homes for many other life forms, the unusual such as the sleepy sea dragon, and the scary, which live in the deep dark depths of the ocean, like this anglerfish. In this project, you will learn about the oceans, such as how they affect lives of all organisms on Earth, investigate the need for conservation and protection, mainly focusing on damage and restoration of the ocean's ecosystems, choose a marine life form and become an expert on this life form, create a model of your project focus, photograph it, and post it with your final project. This will be accomplished through your readings, class discussions, and posts, as well as virtual field trips and dissections. Of course, any of your local aquatic centers will be a wealth of knowledge. Just be sure to list these centers and/or interviews as part of your bibliography of your final project. So let's begin with the focus of this project. Where are the oceans? How many are there? And what are their names? Today there are 5 recognized oceans covering Earth. These oceans cover 70% of the Earth and contain 97% of the Earth's water supply. The Pacific Ocean is the largest of these oceans, stretching from the west coast of the Americas to the east coast of Asia. The Atlantic Ocean is between the Americas and Europe and Africa. The northernmost ocean is the Arctic Ocean. It is above North America and Asia. The Indian Ocean is between Africa and India and extends to Southeast Asia. And the newest ocean, the Southern Ocean, was named in 2000 by the International Hydrographic Organization and surrounds Antarctica to 60 degrees latitude. I said earlier that the oceans affect our quality of life, but how? Through its movements. The deep currents are not directly felt by us, but they play a huge part in the aquatic ecosystems. They are created by differences in water density. Cold water has a higher salinity and sinks. Warm water rises and the salinity decreases. Temperature and ocean salinity determines where aquatic life forms live and thrive. The Great Ocean Conveyor Belt takes the cold water from the polar regions to the tropics to warm, and which eventually returns back to start. This cycle accounts for 90% of the water, and one cycle can take 1,000 years. The effects of surface currents are felt by us more as they dictate the climates where we live. Wind currents move warmer water to the poles, and cold currents bring cold water to the equator to warm again. More than 1/2 of the sun rays are absorbed by the oceans. As the oceans are vast, it takes more energy for temperatures to change along the coastlines. Land, on the other hand, absorbs and releases heat quickly. Therefore, there is more noticeable change in temperatures the further you move away from the coasts. Other ocean water movements are upwelling and downwelling and are caused by the Earth's rotation, called the Coriolis effects. Upwelling on the left occurs as the wind currents from the north, causing surface waters to move out. The lower water fills in the void, bringing important nutrients up from the deep for plankton. Plankton is the beginning of the food chain. A disruption in the plankton population would be disastrous for all organisms that feed off them. Downwelling on the right is the opposite phenomenon. It is caused by air currents from the south, causing the deep water to recede, with the surface water replacing the outgoing. These two wellings also determine where certain aquatic plants and animals call home. So as you can see, the oceans and their movements are important to both aquatic and land animals. As the oceans are so vast, 70% of the Earth, it is hard to imagine that man could have a damaging effect on something so big. That is our next topic of discussion, what man has done.